Now, it's been reported that the tender for the upgrade of the Rooiwal water waste treatment plant was awarded to companies belonging to Edwin Sodi. There's now outcries over allegations of irregularities in the Rooiwal water waste treatment plant following the outbreak of cholera in Hammanskraal and the subsequent death of 17 people thus far. Kaizer Kganyago, SIU Spokesperson, joins us now to discuss the 295 million rand Rooiwal tender. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. With fingers pointing in all sorts of directions, there's a lot of blame game at the moment around the cholera outbreak, which has so far claimed the lives of 17 people. Controversial businessman Edwin Sodi has now been drawn into this Hammanskraal debacle for irregularities around the tender awarded to him to refurbish and upgrade the plant. Is the SIU investigating this Rooiwal tender saga?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. At the moment, the answer is no. But what we can say is we received information and also a reportage around the Rooiwal contract from Action SA, and we took the documentation that they gave to us. For the past few months, we were looking at getting more information from Tshwane and all the other relevant people that are needed. Unfortunately, we all know what happened at Tshwane. 1 minute there is somebody is in charge, the next week is out and all of that, and that delayed our preliminary investigation. But what I can say to the public of South Africa is we are now done with the preliminary investigation. We have now found that there is something that we can investigate. We are now in the process of drafting a proclamation that we will send to the president via the Department of Justice to make sure that we get the proclamation and start the investigation.
Yeah. With Action SA having probed this Hammanskraal water crisis, their forensic investigation report came up with a number of findings revealing that neither of the companies in this joint venture had any experience in this kind of project. In fact, just speaking to my colleague Golim Gambi, Action SA's Tshwane Caucus leader Thabang Sibudzana reaffirmed that Edwin Sodi's lack of competence for the task, really highlighting that. So you say you've had a look at this report. What stands out for you as you try and determine the scope of your work?
Yes, we cannot be making any pronouncement at the moment, save for us to say we have found that there is a reason for us to investigate and get deeper into it. And this is exactly what we are going to do. We have looked at the report, but we still have to verify certain things. We've got to call all the people that needs to be called when the investigation happens to give their side of the story so that we can be in a position where we make a final decision on what really happened and then take it further. It is important for us to get involved so that if this contract is found to be irregular, we can set it aside and recover the money.
In calling all the people you have to call, have you at all spoken to Edwin Sodi?
Not at the moment, because we do not have a proclamation. We do not have the powers that we need to call people and make them to account at the moment. Once the proclamation is signed, we will have that. And I must hasten to say that this will not be affected by any events that are happening now or in the future, because we are going to be looking back at when this contract was entered into and what really happened.
So as you begin to really break down the scope of your work, what would you say concerns you about this matter?
No, we are looking at processes. Like I always say, we're checking as to whether the processes were followed and whether there was no preferential treatment in terms of awarding of this tender, and whether all the processes and policies of the city were followed when this contract was entered into. And when we find that it is not, then we have grounds and evidence. Because the report that we got from Action SA is not evidence that we need. It's just part of the information that we're going to use. We have got to have evidence that we've got to take before a judge and the special tribunal in order for us to be able to do anything with that contract.
Very well. Thank you so much. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Kaizer Kganyago, SIU spokesperson, joining us there to discuss the 295 million rand Rooiwal tender.